My name is Nakia. I am a high school administrator, and I am the parent of Brielle Davis. When I was diagnosed, one of the major lifestyle changes that I made was just looking at my diet and looking at how much I was eating out, how much of what I was eating just wasn't good, good to eat, and trying to monitor that as much as possible. So really cutting out the eating out and really doing some of, the kitchen cooking, as I like to call it, and doing those things, but also trying to have the vegetable, the protein, the fruit, kind of having all of those groups at some point throughout the day. So when we were first seeing it show up in my blood work, made the lifestyle changes. Cholesterol still high. I then, the doctor then looked at it again and was like, okay, we've got to now make some adjustments because things aren't improving. My initial medicine that I received, I had side effects from. So I was removed from that and then put on a different medication, and then recently put on another medication. So I didn't see any changes until those two, that second medication was put into play. And now this third is just to also decrease my levels as well. But I've definitely seen a major drop since being put on this second medication. It was never suggested to me to undergo genetic testing during my journey. It only came up when we were engaged in Brielle's journey. When she had gotten sick last summer, doctors initially didn't know what that was. It ended up being diagnosed as a bone infection, and to this day I don't think we really know where it came from, but we did leave with that diagnosis. And what we noticed in our follow-ups from leaving the hospital, her blood work was showing high levels of cholesterol. So her pediatrician felt the need to do a follow-up. So we did some follow-up blood work. And unfortunately, the levels did not return back to normal. And in turn, we were referred to preventative cardiologists. So early 40s, he had an episode right in our family bathroom, and it's four of us all together, kind of envisioned that as that was taking place, as my mom is trying to, call 911 and resuscitate, him as quickly as possible. So we ended up finding out via the autopsy that he passed away due to hardening of the arteries. So seeing that and hearing that at a very much young age, it kind of sticks with you. And now hearing what my daughter's diagnosis is and what my diagnosis is, it does create a sense of urgency and a need to be as preventative as possible. I didn't know what it was until I walked into the cardiologist appointment for my daughter. Had no idea it existed. I'm always asked, what's your family history? I write it down on the paper. I can communicate it, given that I experienced it myself, but never a genetic side of it. It's more so, how do I say it? It runs in your family, kind of that quote. So if it runs in your family, you may have it, you may not have it, but nothing genetic where now it's something that is passing down, right, through generations, and not just, because we're in this family, I have this, this diagnosis. So when I was told that she had to take the medication, I felt very much sad. I felt as though, you think about, did I do what I was supposed to do? Did I go to all of these visits, which I know I did, right? I check every box, I go every year. So it was more so what I was thinking, what did I not do? Or what could I have done to prevent this? Not knowing that there was nothing I could do, understanding now her diagnosis. So that was the initial, but then piecing the things together, it moved towards, again, I'm going to help her in this journey to be preventative and have her really understand why she has to, so that she doesn't get to the point of my father. So I think for me, the plan was, what the cardiologist gave us is that here we can be preventative, or we can let this ride out, and knowing what that looks like if we just don't do anything, and what the possibility is. I think for me to hear it and for her to hear it, as to what that looks like when we're not preventative versus being preventative, that became our plan. So we left that office knowing that we are leaving this office knowing to be preventative, but also knowing that there's going to be some things we've got to do in order to do that. It was very interesting when I shared this diagnosis with my friends. Some were very empathetic, but also looking at it from a lens of their own family. What do I know versus what I don't know? So that was very rewarding to be able to get them to think about things outside of how, again, I thought about it. Just, we know it exists in the family. Maybe I have it, maybe I don't. But really considering it being something that's more than just that one-liner, and something that could be preventative, but also something that could be long-standing, that nothing can really change it. As we live in this the culture that we live in, I think we are very much sold with things not being communicated a lot, because we all grew up in it, right? We do mainly what we know and have seen. So I think I have triggered a thought, so that when certain things do happen with the siblings, or even with my friends, being able to say, "Ooh, I remember what Nakia said. Let me give her a call." So I think I've implanted a thought, but I think it takes more than that to break the generational cycle that exists in our culture about health in general. I would say for me, genetics don't lie. I think we've followed the steps to really narrow this down into one isolated thing. So I would definitely say, I mean, I don't think you can go back and forth with genetics. When looking at, again, my family as a whole, and looking at literally my dad suffering that cardiac arrest very early in age, I think that's a truth teller as well, in terms of these things truly existing. And then thirdly, it's just more so, I don't know, it's just really kind of thinking about it from the lens of, we go to the doctors and put our trust in our doctors to keep us healthy. And when you're hearing things that are opposite of that, it's really in our best interest to want to pursue that, to ensure that we're following any type of preventative steps that we can follow. So I think, again, for me, I put trust into doctors, knowing that, you can get different variations from any doctor, but also knowing that if you're hearing that trend, that something probably isn't right and something needs to be done.